Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakareshu Sarvada. Om Gam Ganapate Namaha. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha. Gurureva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sarva Mangala Mangalle Shive Sarvartha Sadike Sharanye Trambake Devi Narayani Namostute. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Buddhi Rupena Samstita. Namastasya 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 Namo Namaha. Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shri Radha Krishnaya Namo Namaha. Om Namah Shivaya. Shri Hanuman Ji Maharaj Ki Jai. Welcome to Daily Satsang, Nitya Satsang. Today is the 31st of January 2026 by the Krupa of Bhagavan Sri Krishna Paramatma and Shri Radharani and all the great sages, all the incarnations of God. We have this extraordinary opportunity by Divya Icha to examine intricately, beautifully, the RAS Panchadhayyi and so many interconnected, related ideas. Now we're going to continue straight from yesterday. We had talked a bit about Sthayi Bhav, and I want to go further into this today. If you remember that the Sthayi Bhav is the raw material, that is the foundation. So there are 5 principal Sthayi Bhavs. And Sthayi Bhav meaning like fixated, completely harmonized. Bhavna meaning the emotional dynamics are oceanic, like the ocean. They are just vast. In the bhav, meaning the emotion has reached a heightened state of vastness. Vastness, V-A-S-T-N-E-S-S. Vastness, vast bhav. It's a very big thing. It's not any, most people that don't experience this. ये बहुत बड़ी स्थिति है स्थायी भाव. Because before the rasa, the prem ras actually opens in its real original sense, this sthayi bhav needs to be developed, or that has to develop primarily. And as per Rupa Goswami, he has identified 5 primary relationships. These are called Mukhya Bhakti Ras. This is in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara. You'll find this information there. And if you remember, I mentioned it before, we'll mention it again, that there is Shantarati, Dasya Rati, Sakhya Rati, Vatsalya Rati, and Madhurya Rati. Shantarati is neutral, peaceful. It is a bond with God, no doubt, but it is not an intimate bond. It is a reverential bond. भगवान कितने महान है, कितनी अलौकिक है, दिव्य है, कितनी विभूति है, कितना ऐश्वर्य है. Like for example in the Vibhuti Yoga. In the Vibhuti Yoga, when we read in the Gita, we should be going through that in the future sometime. Bhagavan Krishna says, I am the topmost of everything. Vibhuti means the highest level of experience. I am the letter A of all the letters, Bhagavan kehte hai. So many descriptions are there, right? Devo me kam dev hu. Like that, so among the archers, I am Arjun. So these are all vibhutis. Vibhutis are powers of Paramatma, meaning within Prakriti, and they are the topmost experience within Prakriti. That is called vibhuti. For example, if you have a big politician who's very dharmic, koi swarth nahi hai, has no swarth, is doing seva, has reached extremely high stage in the political domain, and is only intending to help everyone, has absolutely zero egotistical desire. This is called an example of a vibhuti. Right? So, a student who gets continuously straight A's right from childhood, never got a B in the whole life, and then went to PhD without ever getting B. Ye kya hai? It is a special vibhuti. There is a special power that is awakened in the individual. वो भगवान का power है. We actually have that inside of us. We all have certain amount of this, or whatever the amount is, we don't know. Bhagwan has endowed us with these gifts. In Christianity, they say gifts, Gifts. You should recognize your gifts and use them. Whatever Paramatma has given us as predominant activity, predominant bhav, predominant abilities, recognize them. Recognize them and then utilize them for seva and for bhakti, not for ahankar. So this is called utilization of one's natural gifts, tendencies, abilities, what is natural to the individual. Right? So this is the general idea. Now this same idea, concept is applicable to these 5 sthayi bhavs. If you're writing things down, hopefully you are, hamari bahut prarthna, please likh dijiye. That will really help. Within 1 year period of time, you'll have so many notes and it will all settle inside. Gyan, meaning information in terms of which will lead to gyan, it has to really be studied. It's not simply just hearing 1 ear out the other and thodi achhi baat ho gayi. It's not like that. It has to actually settle inside. So there are 4 stages: Shravan, Manan, Nididhas and Sakshatkar. Ye ab bhi Shravan kar rahe hai. Sachin bhi Shravan kar raha hai, aap bhi Shravan kar rahe. Manan kaise hoga? Is par points likh dena. Right? So just write the bullet points. You don't have to write full sentences or anything. Thoda likh dege to bahut acha rahega. So what are the 5 sthayi bhavs? So write these 5 down. Sthayi is spelled STHAYI dash bhav, BHAVA. Sthayi bhavs. There are 5 of them. As per who? As per Rupa Goswami. Unhone ye classification kiya hai this way. He's an enlightened saint. Wo Bhagwan Krishna ke bahut bade mukta the. So what is the first one? Shanta Rati. Shanta Rati, see the word Rati, is that the same thing as Ras or Bhav? Yeah, kind of. It means that one is Rat. Rat means one is engaged in that Shanta Upasna. Bhagwan ki hi Upasna hai. Bhagwan to ek hi hai. The Tattva is only one. जो अक्षर से पर जो तत्व है, अक्षरातीत परमात्मा, there is only one तत्व. उनका ही सब स्वरूप, अनुभव, धाम, अलौकिक विभूति, सब एक का ही सब कुछ है. ठीक है? तो शांत रति means that the upasak, hopefully these words are clear, the upasak is engaged in upasna. Remember, the upasna has 4 understandings: sakar, sarvopari, pratyaksh pragat, and sarvakarta harta. Sarvakarta, Paramatma sab kuch karte hai. These are the 4 understandings through which the bhakti, which is now upasna towards one Ishta Devata, becomes solidified. And that is what we're talking about here. Ishtata ek hi hote, not 2. और सब स्वरूप भगवान के वो सब पूज्य है. इष्ट और उपास्य, उपास्य is only one. एक ही होता है उपास्य. There's never 2. You can do bhakti of so many, like what we're doing every day. We do Chamunda Devi mantra, we do Hanuman Chalisa, Ganesh ji ke mantra. Every day we do Vishnu Sahasranam. ये सब भक्ति है. बहुत भाव से, प्रेम से करना. But a time may come when there is upasana of only one swarup, where there is total absorption in one with love for all. सबके साथ प्रेम, वो पूजनीय है, उसके सब मंत्र भी कर सकते हैं, पूजन अर्चन सब कुछ, नमस्कार, everything we can do. But when it comes time for intense sadhana, there is only one swarup with which this is done. So many examples: Hanuman ji with Bhagwan Ram, Parvati ji with Bhagwan Shankar, Ram Bhagwan with Bhagwan Shankar, Gopis with Sri Krishna, Mirabai with Sri Krishna, Tulsidas ji with Ramchandra ji. Sabke, anybody who has reached God has done through upasana. Upasana honi hi chahiye. And if it's not there, प्रार्थना करना भगवान को, भगवान कृष्ण को प्रार्थना करना कि हे प्रभु, आप उपास्य बताइए कि मेरा स्वरूप, which स्वरूप you want me to worship you in, वो बताएंगे आपको. Don't worry about it. Don't make it a tension or anything like that. But upasana आएगी. As you progress further, upasana आएगी. And now, I'm assuming now that is there. Assuming, these are things we've talked about before. Assuming that upasana is now developing in one swarup, so now there's another question that will come. What if somebody is worshipping Krishna? What about Radha ji? Some people worship Radha, Shri Radha Rani. their upasya ishta devata is Radha ji. ऐसे भी संप्रदाय है, राधा वल्लभ संप्रदाय, प्रेमानंद जी महाराज एक्सेट्रा, so उनकी उपासना राधा जी पर है, कोई बात नहीं. आप पर कृष्णा को इग्नोर तो नहीं कर रहे. कृष्णा is within Radha, like that. That's how you have to understand. Everything is coming from one. It depends, right? There's people who do Devi upasana. ये सब पार्वती की महामाया की उपासना है. There's people who do शिव जी की उपासना. तो अब दोनों की उपासना कर सकते, दोनों की ही उपासना है. If you're doing शिव उपासना, देवी की उपासना आएगी इसमें. But there are different mantras and stotras and all that. So if you're focusing on like one swarup, जिसको महालक्ष्मी जी की उपासना, like we have here in मंदिर, Delaware में मंदिर है, Mahalakshmi Ji Devasthanam, that's what it's called. The main deity is Mahalakshmi Ji with the Chaturbhut Swarup. So there are devotees in Delaware even who are just focused on Mahalakshmi. बहुत सुंदर बात है. सब पूज्य है, एक इष्ट है. And that is how the progression happens, right? But remember, always keep Gita as Gnan, as the Brahma Vidya Shastra. Brahma Vidya Shastra must be Bhagavad Gita. इसके connection में वचनामृत ले सकते हैं. आप ज्ञानेश्वरी ले सकते हैं, आप बाइबल भी ले सकते हैं, आप सब कुछ ले सकते हैं. Not to worry, but भगवद गीता को इग्नोर नहीं करना. Anybody who ignores Bhagavad Gita is making a very, very, very severe mistake. There is no greater mistake in spirituality than ignoring Bhagavad Gita. There is no greater mistake. Those 700 verses, भगवान स्वयं बोले हैं वो. इसके आगे किसी की भी कंपैरिजन नहीं है. नो वे. इसका ही सब निरूपण है. एक्सपोजिशन सब शास्त्रों में, सब आचार्य परंपरा उसका ही निरूपण है. निरूपण मीनिंग एक्सपोजिशन. If you keep Bhagavad Gita aside and try to establish something apart from the Gita, then what will happen? That is, वो मन कल्पित हो जाएगा. भगवद गीता का बेस होना ही चाहिए. That is called is Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad and Brahma Sutra in a more expansive way. इसको प्रस्थान त्रयी कहते हैं. ये भी ध्यान रखना. Most people have never seen Brahma Sutras. Brahma Sutra or called Vyasa Sutra. There are 555 small aphorisms. The first one is Athato Brahma Jignasa. इसकी बहुत difficult बात है. There are lot of videos by great scholars online, and Santa Parampara are there, who talked about the Brahma Sutras. But these are difficult, upper level ki Vedant ki concept is sab. So we are not touching that here because we cannot even get through Bhagavad Gita. Where's the question of touching Brahma Sutra? And then the 108 Upanishad out of that 10 major Upanishad. This is the core. ये core है. And if you don't know Upanishad, don't know the Brahma Sutra, not to worry. Bhagavad Gita पर ध्यान रखना. And पूरी Bhagavad Gita का सारांश chapter 15. And Sachin recommends chapter 12 also. ये दो chapter पर ध्यान रखना है. बहुत हो गया. सब आ जाएगा इसमें से. Doesn't mean you shouldn't read. Everybody should read Gita regularly, right? I'm mentioning this again for myself, not even telling anybody else. ये सब नहीं होगा. ये जो स्थायी भाव and शांतरति and that, these things are ये बहुत आगे की बात है. And then to go into the rasa, ये जो सब रस भगवान के साथ जो ये प्रेम में, in the upasana, as a person solidifies upasana and begins to have that grounding, is totally firmed in one swarup. और भगवान के साथ इतना, the emotions have become vast, stable, harmonized and connected, then that is called sthayi bhav. Until that happens, that is not sthayi bhav. And until sthayi bhav happens, there is no chance of going into the actual raso vaisa, into the RAAS LEELA. RAAS LEELA में प्रवेश ही नहीं हो सकता. Right, so that's why I'm taking a lot of time with this, because it's not, you can read through the verses of the 5 chapters of the RAAS PANCHADHAYI, but it's not about covering material, it is realization. Realization, अनुभव में जाना है. ठीक है? So let's keep that point in mind. Bhagavad Gita always should be there. Bhagavad Gita का जितना अभ्यास हो सके इतना करना. Don't back off. समय भगवान ने दिया है, इसके लिए दिया है. ठीक है? Now, assuming several things now, we're going to go forward, assuming the following. That study of Bhagavad Gita is going on. Chapter 15, chapter 12, you're getting into that. ठीक है? You're writing comments, questions, reading commentaries. इसका अभ्यास करना चाहिए. Sachin can only cover so much within 40 minutes every day. Right? You have got to do your own study. Study करना इसका. Right? So it's not spiritual entertainment. Bhagwan ka realization is not going for shopping somewhere and buying something. This is our ridiculous, terrible mentality, not ours, but like general people, they think of it as some bakwas vastu hai, some spirituality. Aisa nahi hai. It is the thing to do in life. ये नहीं किया तो कुछ भी नहीं किया जीवन में. ठीक है? So बहुत ध्यान रखना. So take it seriously. Take the study seriously. Let it develop step by step. Don't try to put too many ideas together at one time. It'll cause a lot of confusion. Go slowly with it. It's better to understand few concepts thoroughly than to have 100 concepts all mixed and jumbled in our mind and wind up in confusion, right? So these are some things to keep in mind. All right, let's go very carefully. Assuming the following, Bhagavad Gita ka abhyas chal raha hai. Very nice. That should continue. Number 1. Number 2, भगवान की भक्ति चल रही है. 9 प्रकार की भक्ति, अब अनेक स्वरूपों की जो भक्ति है. भगवान तो एक ही है. सब नमः शिवाय मंत्र, हनुमान जी के मंत्र, चालीसा मंदिरों में जाना, ये सब चल रहा है. दिस इज कॉल्ड भक्ति, जनरल भक्ति. ठीक है? फ्रॉम दिस जनरल भक्ति, इफ यू हैव ए टेंडेंसी, इष्ट देव कथा, इट इज एन अट्रैक्शन फ्रॉम इनसाइड फॉर भगवान कृष्ण, फॉर भगवान राम, फॉर गणेश जी. आपकी जो जिस स्वरूप में a certain attraction develops, that I'm much more attracted to this one form. Well, if that's the case, then go with that. It's not an intellectual analysis, it comes from the heart. It comes, ye swarup mujhko bahut priya. And for millions of people in this history and even today, Bhagwan Krishna ka swarup is very attractive. Murli Manohar. Bhagwan Krishna ka swarup hi aisa hai that it nearly attracts everybody. I don't know anybody, in Sanatana Dharma who can say that they're not attracted towards Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna is the all-attractive form. So if you want to worship Bhagwan Krishna, absolutely fantastic. Koi baat nahi. Some people will say, no, I'm attracted to Ram Naam. Ram Naam, Shri Ram, 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 Ram. तो राम नाम में डूब जाना. भगवान रामचंद्र जी का जो स्वरूप है, हनुमान जी महाराज, लक्ष्मण जी, सीता जी, तुलसी रामायण, भक्ति भाव से उसमें जाना. उपास्य इष्ट देव, तो उपास्य मूर्ति हो जाएगी आपकी. ठीक है? ऐसा सब नमः शिवाय मंत्र, ऑल ऑफ दिस different swarupas are there. Upasana will solidify. Now, once upasana begins to solidify, that means our 70 to 90% of time is spent with one Ishta Devata. It's a marriage. People have dating phase, engagement phase, marriage, lagan, aisi lagi lagan. When you get married, when people, all of you probably online are married, I think were married or something like that at one point. Sachin has not been, but वो हमारा क्षेत्र नहीं है. But आपको ज्ञान है इसका, हमको ज्ञान नहीं है इसका, अनुभव नहीं है. We have knowledge but not अनुभव. जिसको अनुभव है, you know what that is like, right? That marriage is a whole different ball game. You're spending a lot of time out of the 24-hour cycle with that one person. This is called lagni. It is called marriage. In the same way, with that kind of relationship, भगवान के साथ जो एक स्वरूप के साथ, you can start spending, the time will increase with the one swarup. The mantras, stotras, shastras, guru parampara are linked inside that one swarup. That is called sampradaya. Please remember, sampradaya doesn't mean group, doesn't mean fanaticism, doesn't mean sectarianism. ऐसा नहीं है. If those things are going on, there's a deficiency in our understanding of upasana. This goes back to शिक्षापत्री. शिक्षापत्री में बहुत सीधी बात, महाराज ने बहुत सुंदर बात लिखी है. उपास्य इष्ट देवो नः सर्वाविर्भाव कारणम. उपासना एक ही होती है और सब स्वरूप पूज्य है. इसमें तो ऐसा भी लिखा है कि नारायण और शिव एक है, दोनों ब्रह्म स्वरूप है. कितनी सुंदर बात लिखी है. किसी के साथ राग द्वेष अहम ममत्व, that must not be there with this, right? So very important. Upasana to solidify, to go deep in the एक स्वरूप के साथ. स्वरूप इस भगवान का जो विग्रह है, उनके जो भक्त है, उनका जो परिवार है, the भक्त मंडल, मुक्त मंडल जो है. And then at the same time there are mantras, stotras and shastras and guru parampara. Right? And always, Bhagavad Gita has to be there. This is Sachin's 100% recommendation for everybody in Sanatana Dharma. I would say for everybody in the world. If you're on a spiritual path, Bhagavad Gita is absolutely unequivocally necessary. Without that, there's a lot of problems and a lot of difficulty can be there in Adhyatma. Alright, so having said this, now as Upasana continues, this is the base. Abhi ye base ho gaya, this is clear. I'm not going to keep repeating this again. I just want to make it clear because before we enter into the 5 Sthayi Bhavs in more depth, and then eventually the rasa, this base has to be solid. Otherwise we cannot go further even. RAS Panchadhayi, that is a totally different, that is a level. Ek madhurya ras ki ek parakashta hai wo. So we get to all that maybe next year sometime. I don't know when. Bhagwan Krishna ki jaisi marji. Unki daya se sab hota hai. So having this foundation, now we are ready to understand the Panch, the Mukhya Bhakti Rasas, which are 5, and this is based on Rupa Goswami's categorization. Right? So what is the first one? Shantarati. Shantarati. बहुत शांति मिलती है. कैसे मिलती है शांति? Let's talk about this today. Shantarati. This is our word for today. Shantarati. S-A-N or S-H-A-N-T-A. S with an apostrophe on top. A with a line on top. S-A-N-T-A dash Rati. R-A-T-I. This is our term for today. Let's stay with this one point. Let's be clear. It is bhav. It is one of the स्थाई भाव. ऐसे संत आप हम देख सकते बहुत शांत. I have seen sages over the many years. इतनी स्थिरता है उनमें. शांति के समुद्र है. आप you start going near them, you become silent by seeing them. वो शांत, वो डूब जाते हैं, भगवान में डूब गए, भक्ति में डूब गए. But what kind of rati is this? Rati meaning their engagement. They're engaged in the Shanta Bhav. The sentiment of unalloyed peace and reverence. 2 points. Unalloyed means uncontaminated. Like if you have 24 karat gold, 100% gold, there's no other metal inside there. That is called unalloyed metal. So this is called unalloyed peace. And by the way, these rasas, these 5 that we're going to talk about, they're not completely separate from each other. They're all part of bhakti only. But one of them predominates. That's all this means, right? So shanti to milti hai. But if you're going to one of the, ISKCON satsangs and people are dancing in Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. They're lost in that loving exchange of dancing and singing. तो आपको लगेगा ये शांत रस कहाँ है? So that is not शांत रस. शांति तो है, they do meditation, so they have that too. But when they're singing and dancing, that is madhurya ras, right? So that is a different rasas are there. But in shanta ras, there is unalloyed peace, shanti के समुद्र. ऐसे बहुत बड़े संत हो गए, they're इतने शांत. They're not disturbed. Their mind has become absolutely still. It's active to do the work of the world, to be in the world and things like that. But their predominant sthiti kaisi hai? Bhagwan par se par hai. Bhagwan, Bhagvat Tattva itne par. We are just reverential attitude. Reverence. Gopis are not in reverential attitude with Krishna. They're not even concerned that he's God or not. They know all that thing. They want love. Somebody will say, well, isn't this love? To revere? It is. We cannot say it is not. Because this reverence is in the Madhurya Rasa. Because the Madhurya Rasa is the 5th one. That is called the Adi Ras. And it has these 4. Shantaras, Dasyaras, Sakhyaras, Vatsalyaras. It has all 4. It has all 4. So of course, they are already having that. But it's more than that, more than the reverence even. They are close to Paramatma. Here there is a distance. There's you, there's still the relationship is there. Love is there. Prema, bhakti, everything is there. But there's a distance in the sense that you are the supreme Mahan, the majestic, the majesty, like the king sitting on the throne. That is called reverence. That attitude of reverence, meaning pujya bhav, to revere. Bhagwan kitne par hai, aap kitne mahan hai. That bhav is predominating in shantara. So then the mind becomes shant. And this connects into upasana. Bhagwan, aapki marji se sab ho raha hai. All the tension disappears, all worries disappear, all fear disappears. There's a latching on completely. Adhar, Bhagvat Swarup Adhar ban jata hai. Param Shanti. Shantarasa is Param Shanti. The devotee appreciates the greatness and the glory of Bhagavan. There's a constant appreciation. And many examples are like this. Some of us may be attracted to this kind of ras that is predominating from it. Beautiful, koi baat nahi, karo. Isme aage badho. This happens now in terms of Navda Bhakti. How does it happen? Mantra jap. Bhagwan ka jo mantra hai, the more we go into mantra with mahima. Mahima sathe smarana karta akshara dhama pama is a beautiful bhajan we used to sing many years back. Smaran kijiye, naam ratan. Ram, 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 Krishna, 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 Krishna. But with love, with mahima. Mahima, the word mahima, if you have not written that down, please write that down also. Mahima, M-A-H-I-M-A, mahima means glory, grandeur, greatness. Iska kya mahima? Mahima is to recognize the glory. Someone has $100 billion, you say, my God, the person is supra wealthy, has intense power. ऐसे भगवान कैसे है? अनंत कोटि ब्रह्मांड उनके एक रोम के कोटि भाग में फरे छे. In Gujarati we say एक रोम के रोमांस, रोम जो कहते हैं ना रोम. It's an analogy. In one particle of the body of God, billions, infinite universes are spinning around. तो इसके आगे कुछ है? Anything is there? So there is nothing beyond Prabhu, Bhagavan, Bhagavad Tattva. So when we are connected in Upasana, with that Param Tattva, Bhagavad Tattva, automatically fear, anger, agitation, dislike for others, all the small bakwas baatein, all this thing is destroyed right away. इसका mention, I don't want to mention those things even, but unfortunately, कितनी बार trash mention करेंगे? ये सब trash बात है. राग, द्वेष, अहम, ममत्व, क्लेश, वो नहीं रहता. बिल्कुल नहीं. Not even the slightest. When there is shantarati, कितनी कृपा है भगवान कृष्ण की through रूपा गोस्वामी. ये बहुत बड़े संत हो गए. They come into the world for out of grace. They're not here for the foolish things that human beings are here for. ऐसा नहीं है. उनका जीवन एक अलग प्रकार का जीवन है. शांतरति, परम शांति. So in mantra jap, when we do the mantra sadhana, Ram, 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 and there are devotees, we can see. I'll show you some bhajans and all that. ऐसे बहुत भक्त हो गए अभी भी. They are interested in Ram Naam, or they're interested in Krishna Naam, Shiv Naam. Ek naam pakda, bas go into that further. Shanti mil jayegi. Definitely. Puri shanti mil jayegi. And in that Shantarasa, Shantarati does not mean destroying the mind. It does not mean self-hypnosis. I'm making these points clear because a lot of confusion is there about this. People say this today sometimes. You're hypnotizing yourself. You're convincing yourself of some fabricated false ideas. That's not true. Why is that not true? Because the name is given by Santa Parampara, or it has come, the name of the incarnation. The name is the Tattva itself. and there's the anubhav of millions of people, thousands and thousands of people also, that opens the door. It is not a self-fabrication or something like that. Ram, Krishna, Namah Shivaya, they are not just any ordinary sounds. Somebody had said to me, some Christian fellow had said to me at one point, why do you say that these mantras are special, Ved mantras and these names of the incarnations? I said, you want to find out? Start speaking them. Don't argue, discuss this point. It's not a matter of discussion. You cannot convince anybody. And we don't try to convince. He said, why don't you just chant the word love? Chant the word truth. You say, you can. But that is not a Sanskrit word. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. अब इसमें फर्क नहीं है, इसका वाइब्रेशन है, इसके सब स्पंदन है. जैसे अहम ब्रह्मास्मि कृष्ण दासोस्मि. Now, isn't there a difference in the vibration compared to that by saying, I belong to God? You can say, God to ek hi hai. You can say with bhav. That doesn't make any difference like that. But people ask, why you have these mantras, Ved mantras and stotras, and why Sanskrit language and all that? Because it is a direct form of God. It's not just a language. Ram is not just a word that somebody created. It is a mantra. It is a bij mantra also. And all the mantras are made from the bijas. So it is a psycho-spiritual transcendental technology. It is not, just somebody is just chanting. I said to my friend who had this conversation, I said, you chant whatever you want to chant. You speak Christian prayers. You stay away from Hinduism. It's not for you. Because you don't have limited time and left. Jesus ke saath connection karna. Don't worry about all this. It's too much. Hindus don't understand. How are you going to understand it? You don't worry about it. I basically told that person, just forget about Buddhism, Hinduism, Jainism, Sikhism. Aap Christianity mein deep mein jana, aapka kalyan ho jayega. Don't worry about all this thing. Because they cannot, you have to, it's very difficult. It requires so much background to understand even one concept. And there are 1,000 questions that come up. Because it's not centralized, there's no one incarnation, there's no one mantra. Even the Om Mantra ki history, there's so much, it's a 10,000 plus year history. And these concepts like Shantaras and Das, these are very advanced, ye bahut uppar level ke concept hai. Even as a concept, these things are very, they're parallels with other traditions. In simple way, we can talk about it. And people ask these questions, why not just create any sound and start talking? Aisa nahi hai. Even the sounds are 4 different categories. Vaikhri, Madhyama, Pashyanti and Para. Abhi ye sab kya hai? These are very advanced ideas. Ye sab Paravani hai. Vani meaning language, sound that is coming from Paramatma. Through the Sanskrit, it is coming in Sanskrit. Not Sanskrit, and this is not the right pronunciation. Sanskrit. Even we're not pronouncing it, Sanskrit and Sanskrit and all these mispronunciations are there. Iska pronunciation is Sanskrit. Pronounce clearly these mantras, these words. Why not? It is meant to be pronounced clearly. And if you don't know how to pronounce it clearly, learn from somebody. So Sanskrit should not be mispronounced. It has to be pronounced correctly. But bhav is important. Bhagwan shama karte, aisa kuch nahi hai. But it is a technology. It's like taking a medicine. You say, I'll just take any medicine, I'll just, without reading the instruction, take any number of pills. Aisa hoga? This is why Guru is required. Guru Parampara is needed. Shastras are needed to understand how to do the bhakti, when to speak the mantras, how to speak mantras, etc. And that knowledge is available. We should not be confused by it. पर इसीलिए जो नाम की जो बात है, शांति की जो बात है, my point is simply, it is not a fabricated silence. It is not a self-hypnosis. It is not a silence that is induced like a drug. Some people say this, you're just hypnotizing yourself. Hypnosis. No. You can hypnotize in psychology in different ways, but that's not this. And there's a total, it's not hypnosis. It is actually coming out of the hypnosis of Maya. भगवान का नाम. It's actually that. शिव का नाम, राम का नाम, शिव नाम, राम नाम, कृष्ण नाम, माता जी का नाम, गणेश जी का नाम, सूर्य के जो मंत्र है, that will dehypnotize the individual. पंचायतन, पांच देवों की जो भगवान की जो स्वरूप है, all the sampradayas are from these five. शक्ति संप्रदाय, विष्णु संप्रदाय, शैव संप्रदाय, सूर्य की जो उपासना, एंड गणपति जी की उपासना. These are five मुख्य, all the upasanas of these five in Sanatan Dharma. And then it is all the different, many paramparas are there from these five only. So it is not a hypnosis. It will dehypnotize. So when we say Om Gam Ganapate Namaha, Om Gam Ganapate Namaha, what does that do? Is that a hypnosis? It will bring shanti mil jayegi. Shanti aa jayegi. Mind becomes shanta because that shanti, that silence is through the Veda mantra. Through Bhagwan ke jo naam hai, it is all from Ved, Vedant और जो पौराणिक मंत्र है, उसमें से जो शांति मिलती है वो शाश्वत रियल शांति है, नित्य शांति है. Now see, we open this subject. See, कितना depth है इसमें. We have to go very carefully. It's not a fabrication. It's not some hypnosis, and it's not like, that you're like taking what is the difference between taking a psychiatric drug that just shuts down the mind? There are many strong medicines like this, Abilify and Depakote, and I know quite a few. I was in that field for a long time, so I know what they do. They just shut down. They work on the brain. They shut things. Maybe that is needed for some people. We're not saying that. But that is not what these mantras do. Mantras don't shut down the mind. They clean up the mind. भगवान के जो मंत्र है, स्तोत्र है, शास्त्र है, और गुरु परंपरा का, रियल गुरु परंपरा के जो वचन, each teaching that they have given, they clean up the mind, they stabilize the mind, they stabilize our life, they make our energies harmonized, and the silence that comes, it is called Jnanatmak Shanti. It is Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Every Veda mantra ends with Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. What kind of Shanti is this? Well, Bhagwan when we are connected to that Paramatma, the disturbances inside the mental reality, the antakarana, it has become still, it has become peaceful, steady, harmonized, not dull, not destroyed, not damaged, not fabricated, not projected silence, not hypnosis. This is the power of Sanatana Dharma. Our people who are, I say, quote our, it's not our or yours or anything like that. People who are connected to Sanatana Dharma need to understand these things. If we don't understand this, there are thousands of counter questions, and you yourself will question it. Like, what the heck am I doing here? मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ? I'm just sitting here in front of this murti. It's not just sitting in front of them. It is a dynamic development from inside to bring, so that the shanti comes, and in that shanti, in that shanta rasa, the mind becomes active. That activity that happens in the shanti, on the substratum of shanti, isko kya kehte hai? That is kriya. That is unbounded kriya. Physical, mental, verbal actions are unbounded. Unbounded action. Action continues. People who are in the shanta bhav mein jo wo kriya karte. But antakaran ki jo, the sthita pragna sthiti, that is never disturbed. They use their mind. Mind is active, but not active through disturbance. It is active through shanti, through shanta bhav. Have you thought about this point? Activity through shanti. Most people are trying to become still and silent by shutting off the mind. It is not shutting off the mind. It is absorbing the antakarana, man, buddhi, chit, ahankar in the swarup of Paramatma through Navada Bhakti. Is that shutting off the mind? No. It is the mind getting silenced out of Maya into the disturbance, out of the disturbances, and has become active in the swarup of Bhakti, of Paramatma. It is an active silence, not a destructive silence. We can just keep going. We can just go on forever. Let's just stop here for now. Otherwise, we will not be able to stop. I'm trying to stick to time. I already went over 9 minutes. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurumedeva Sarvakarishu Sarvada Om Ganganapate Namaha Om Shri Radha Krishna Namaha Om Aim Rim Klim Chamundaye Vichye Swaha Durga Durga Rakshani Tata Swaha Shri Durga Arpanamastu Shri Radha Krishna Arpanamastu.